270 this afternoon. You've got pockets of stop-and-go traffic in Olive, then again at the road construction in Ladue, headed down towards Manchester Road. South of there, a pretty good run. South of Doherty Ferry, make your way down towards Highway 44. Westbound on Highway 44, you're still working with that accident. It's over on the right side, though. Make your way towards Highway 270. The ramp towards Highway 270 partially blocked there. This report brought to you by i3 Broadband. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our largest price guarantee ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio to start your spring off right. I'm Frank Led on the Michael'sFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, welcome into Rush Hour Sports. Redbird Rush Hour during the baseball season. Kevin Wheeler, Matt Pauley with you here for the next hour. And we do have Sports Open Line tonight because the Cardinals wrapped up their game in their series with the Marlins this afternoon. Today was not great.
No.
A little bit of a clunker. You know, Leahy wasn't particularly good. Nobody hit. They had 3 hits.
4.
4. Sorry, don't want to short them. I forgot about the home run.
Yeah.
They had 3
Herrera
going into the
run.
ninth.
Yeah.
Herrera's home run in the ninth is the 4th.
By the way, the fact that I correct you on the air like that shows how much I like you.
I don't care. Yeah, you should. I mean, to me, that's what friends do. You know, your buddy says something wrong, you fix them.
I had a broadcast partner once that was like, we do not correct each other on the air.
Oh.
So, like, he would make mistakes every once in a while, and it's like, how do I get this message to him to let him know that that was not right?
Oh, yeah, no.
So if you mess up, Kevin, I am telling you.
You should.
3 hits, my backside, it was
Because,
4.
see, here's the thing. If you don't do it, you're both thinking about it. And so are all the people listening, and everybody's just wondering when it's going to get addressed. Just address it. It's fine.
9,000 people were just yelling at their car radio. Go, no, they had 4 hits today, Kevin. 4.
We all brain fart. Yeah. You know, we all do things like that. It's okay. It's all good.
4.
Yeah. So it was 4 hits today, but it was a lineup that didn't produce. And look, people were mad pregame, and I know you saw it on Twitter. I avoided it on Twitter today because of the dumbness of it. But people are super mad that Walker and Wynn and Burleson all got the day off on the same day and the day before an off day. But this is not a new phenomenon. This is not a Cardinals phenomenon. Managers have done this for a long time. They do it in the sport when you want to give as many people as you can back-to-back days off because it's a long season. And you want good recovery. And you want players to be playing as close to 100% as possible for as much of the season as possible, and rest is a part of that. So you can play this 2 ways as a manager. You can give each one of them a day off separately for 3 or 4 straight days, depending on the guys you're going to rest, and play with less than your best lineup 3 or 4 days in that week. Or you can just do it all in one game. You can have your A lineup for 5 or 6 games, and you have a B lineup for 1 game. I prefer that personally because I don't want to lessen my team for, 60% of the week and instead of just doing it once. And, and this was a big thing. We talked about it with Dave on DGS. Tony La Russa did this all the time.
Yeah, most Sunday lineups.
A lot of times, especially if Sunday was a getaway.
Yeah.
If it's a home game and maybe you have Monday off, maybe not. But on a getaway day, especially if you're playing the next day, but even if you're not, Tony La Russa did this all the time, and I listened to him explain it for years, doing sports on a Sunday morning, and it's what we just talked about. You can either play short multiple days, or you can play short 1 day.
And, by the way, first off, I agree with what you just said. You want to have an uncompromised lineup as high of a percentage of number of games as possible, while also making sure you don't run these guys into the ground. The other part of that, by doing it today, you utilize tomorrow's off day, and you were able to get 3 dudes back-to-back days off in front of a period where they're going to be playing like 17 games in 17 days coming up
against
very
really tough teams.
Against really good teams.
Yeah.
This is a really important stretch that's coming up. So this is a no-brainer. And the difference between giving a guy a day off and also being able to give somebody 2 days off over a 162 game season, that is huge. That's absolutely huge that they're able to do that.
Yeah, we got a comment from Justin on here. Justin, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm going to just tell you that there's a reality that's not reflecting what you're saying.
Yeah.
But he said it was not a very good road trip by the offense. They should hit better. Fact is, too many strikeouts at the plate. There were some games where there were too many strikeouts. That's true. But you scored 9, 7, and 7 in the 3 games in Houston. So you scored 23 runs in 3 games in Houston. That's not the offense struggling. And then you scored 5 runs in one of the 3 games against the Marlins. Now, you had 2 games where you didn't score, and one today where it was bad, as we talked about with the B lineup. That's all true, and the strikeouts are starting to increase. Walker's been striking out a lot here lately. So, again, there are concerns, but the road trip was 6 games. And in 4 of those 6 games, you scored 5 or more runs. 5 runs wins games.
When you were on the 5-game winning streak, you averaged 6.8 runs per game. The strikeouts only matter when the strikeouts are causing you to lose games. So if you go strike out 12 times in a game, but you're doing a bunch of other stuff, then it doesn't. So there are times where strikeouts are a big deal.
Yeah.
And there were games in this trip. But
yeah, for sure.
Justin, because he followed that up with it's the truth.
No, it's not. Do basic math, brother.
They averaged close to 7 runs per game over a 5-game stretch, and they scored a lot of runs. If you think that they just had a bad offensive trip, I've got bad news about what you know about baseball because they did not have they had a bad offensive day today.
You could say that they had a bad one, a mediocre series against the Marlins because you scored 9 runs in 3 games. That's not great.
No.
So that's fine. I'll take that. But that's not the road trip. That's a 3-game series.
They just went 4-2 on a road trip.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Totally fine.
That's fine. And they scored more runs than they needed to more often than not.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to argue there are times where the strikeouts are bad. No question. But guys, this brings me to a bigger theme, and we won't be able to cover it all here. We're going to continue this into the next segment. But I want to get into the bigger theme here. The good start to the season doesn't change what you are. It doesn't change the fact that you are a rebuilding team. We can't start moving the goalposts. We can't start changing how we're evaluating things or what we think they should be doing because the first 24 games have gone pretty well. You're 14-10. It's a really good start. This is not a team that's going to be 4 games over 500 every 24 games.
Probably not.
It's not impossible, but think about it. If you're 4 games over 500 every month for 6 months, you're 24 games over 500. What's that record? Just take 12 each direction of 81. That's a 93-win team. This is not a 93-win team.
It is not.
And I'm not trying to be mean. I love what we're seeing. They're fun. They fight. They get back into games. They've got some really good players and some guys that are off to bad starts that are starting to come around. And we'll talk more about those guys, too, because Mason Wynn has started to hit over the last 10 days or so, and so has Nathan Church, which is a really good thing to see. But we can't get confused or get lost in the fact that it's been a good start. Because I know the team is going to work to win games. They're going to talk about it.
That's their job.
That's their job.
That's their job.
Our job is to be honest and fair analysis givers, critiques. And I'm not trying to bag on the team. They're still a rebuilding team. When you look at a lineup that when you get past the 4-hole, you don't know what you're getting at all. Gorman, Wynn, Church, Pauley, Scott, as a group, haven't done much for 24 games. Now, as I mentioned, Wynn and Church are starting to. Gorman has been here and there, but not good enough. When you've got 5 on down in the lineup where you're not sure what you're getting every day, that's not a contender.
It's not, and I'll stand by. I still think this team has a chance to be in the neighborhood of 500, and if stuff falls in the right direction, maybe better than 500, and depending on what else happens across baseball, could they pull what the Cincinnati Reds pulled off last year? Yeah, but that's to me, that is the absolute ceiling, and everything has to go right for this team. Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
But let's also hope for more individual development as the year goes along and guys continuing to learn what it means to win and us seeing guys at some point start to come up from AAA who are going to be part of the future and start to get a glimpse of that. I mean, there's so many other things that are going on with this team.
And again, I'm not trying to be a negative person here. I'm just trying to be realistic. If you looked at the team before the season and you had questions, 24 games doesn't answer those questions. It never can. It's a very small sample size. And how many times have we seen over the years other teams create buzz because they get off to a good start? Pittsburgh comes to mind last year, right? Didn't they get off to this amazing start last year, or was it the year before that?
I don't remember.
I think it might have been 2024. They got off to a really good start, and people were getting fired up about it.
It wasn't last year because Shelton got fired.
Right, that's right. Last year was the bad. No, it was the year before that. And they got off to a 9-2 start. And then later on, they were 11-5, the Pirates. That was 2024 that they got off to this good start. And people were like, are they different? Could they be better? Paul Skeens is there now. Maybe there's hope. And then you look at how that season ended, and it ended with the team. What did they win that year?
Not many.
76 games.
Okay.
So, it's just not enough games to say we've changed what we see about the team. And I think this is where we're going to go next. This is the interesting part. Again, this is not meant to be a forecast of doom. I'm just calling this a reality check for all of us so we can have the right mindset going into the next month of games, because it's about to get hard.
Really hard.
Yeah,
Tough. Yeah.
And we'll lay that out. And then we're going to talk, too, about things that are going really well. And we'll do that coming up here on Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
You voted, we listened. On Friday, April 24th, the Cardinals take on the Seattle Mariners, and Busch Stadium is going dark. That night, you will receive the all-new Cardinals jersey, Dark Mode, presented by Phillips 66. This fan-selected look was brought to life for the ballpark and designed to stand out in the stands. A limited giveaway you can only get at the game. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Victor Scott II. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, I just saw the emergency crews pull away from this accident eastbound on Highway 64 near the Clarkson Road overpass. So that's the good news. All lanes back open there. Doesn't even look like there's any incidents over to the right shoulder. So that's great news for folks coming up from Chesterfield Valley. Those delays should be easing. They had been back towards about Topgolf. Southbound on Highway 270 this afternoon, you've got pockets of volume. Make your way south of Page down to about Doherty Ferry. South of there, a great run passing Highway 44 all the way down to Highway 55. We're delay-free this afternoon, headed out of the city through that row construction zone on southbound 55, westbound on 64. You're on the brakes now from west of the Tower Grove area, headed out toward Kings Highway in pockets passing Forest Park. Southbound 170 is heavy from Delmar, headed down towards Highway 64, especially that left lane approaching Highway 64. And good news for drivers headed to the Metro East. That emergency bridge deck repair on eastbound 5564 past the Poplar Street Bridge is complete. All lanes are back open there. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Staples.
Staples has hundreds of great ways to boost your brand, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through April 18th and save up to $125 on all your custom prints. Staples, that was easy.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Oh, that's kind of ominous music. Redbird Rush Hour. I know I picked it. Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX. You like it? It's Anthrax, man.
All right.
Great album. 1993, in case you're wondering. That's 30 plus years old.
Does that make you feel old?
No.
I was 11.
Yeah. No, that makes me feel old.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That because I was only like a year and a half from being married at that time, and you were 13 when I got married. That's funny. I kind of like that. Although I got married young, so like relatively young. I was 24, so not that crazy.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, pretty young. For modern times, very young. You know, maybe from 1800s, I would have been an old man getting married then instead of at 14. All right, let's talk about what's coming for the Cardinals because, again, I'm not forecasting doom. None of this is about that. This season is about evaluation and getting through, finding the players that are going to be a part of the long-term picture and finding players that maybe get moved on in different ways for different reasons. And we're going to get into that a little bit. We got a couple people that have brought up on the stream. We'll talk about this in the next segment about Riley O'Brien because Bernie talked about Riley in his video today, and that's what they're asking about, and made a point that it may not be the worst idea to consider trading him in the second half if he continues to be a dominant reliever. And we'll talk about the reasons for and against that coming up in a little bit. But this is just, Matt, we talked about this briefly, but I think we agree. This is not meant to be a forecast of doom. This is just looking at what you have ahead and noticing it's going to be tough. So you got tomorrow off, and then it's 3 games against the Seattle Mariners, who are not playing great baseball, but that is the team from the American League Championship Series last year that almost beat Toronto.
Yeah, they're a really good team.
They're very good. And
Bummer
you're going
that Brendan Donovan won't be here.
Brendan Donovan's hurt, so you're not going to see him. But you're going to have George Kirby and Brian Wu in the first 2 games. Those guys are stars. They're all-star caliber starting pitchers. And then you got Pittsburgh after that, and you're getting Chandler, Skeens, and Keller. And you're also going to get Ashcraft, who's pitched well, too. So you're going to have a tough series there. They're playing well. You're getting pitching. Then it's the Dodgers. Then it's the Brewers. Then it's the Padres.
A 4-gamer in San Diego.
And the Padres are off to a good start, and they just signed Lucas Giolito, so they added another starting pitcher. Then it's the A's. They're good.
They are. They're playing good
not
baseball.
Great. They don't pitch great, but they can hit. And then it's Kansas City, who's off to a terrible start. Then Pittsburgh again. The Reds, who are off to a good start. The Brewers again. The Cubs, who are off to a good start. Like, that takes us all the way to June 7th. This is going to be a really tough month.
And if they get through this month and they're still hanging around 500,
super encouraging.
Then let's start having the conversation
about maybe changing.
If that ceiling that I talk about, if that's more of a probability. But we're going to learn a lot about this team in the next month. Because of all the series that you just mentioned, the only team on there that just isn't a very good team is Kansas City.
Right now.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be better. We'll see where they are in those, 3 weeks when they play them. But, yeah, right now they're awful. They're not hitting. Their pitching's not been as good as advertised. And maybe that'll change because, again, this number of games, even for the Mets, who are terrible, they're better than this. Their record will look a lot better in June and July than it does right now. This number of games does not tell you what a team is. Unless it's already what you thought, right?
Right.
I mean, the Dodgers, that's telling you because you knew they're good. If it's a team like a team that's super bad because you knew they were super bad, well, okay, maybe that is. But you don't change evaluations based on less than a month. It just doesn't work that way.
Especially in baseball.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Mike Claiborne doesn't take note of things until we get to Flag Day.
Yeah.
Like we have fun with that, and it's a good thing that we have in St. Louis to be able to talk about. But there is a reason that you don't really pay attention to the record and where you're at until that point, because there's not enough, and guys are still ramping up. We were having this conversation today talking specifically about minor league pitchers, about how they're still being ramped up at this point of the season. You're easing them in. But even at the major league level, guys are still easing into the season in the first month, 6 weeks of the season before you really become who you're going to be. And the other side of this is we really don't still know what this Cardinals roster is going to look like when you get into the bulk of the year, because there are, I think, more from a relief pitching standpoint than anything else. But there's another guy or two. Like how does Hunter Dobbins play into this, and does he displace somebody from the current rotation when they need to go to 5? Does a Bryson Motts get the opportunity to come up here and be in the bullpen? Does somebody else, like, what does
it's going to be a very
look like?
different team in August and September.
Yeah, and it's not just that those guys are going to come in and be the last guy in the bullpen or the last guy on the bench. I think that there's still some guys out there that are not on the team that are going to have key roles, kind of like Matt Swanson last year, where he didn't, at this point last year, he wasn't on the roster, and even when he got here, he was a low-leverage guy, and by the time the season ended, he was as important as anybody in that bullpen.
Absolutely. Kind of on that note, Lauren says tomorrow is the first, it's a Friday where you start 17 games in 17 days. Just want to see if we think Ollie will go to a 6-man rotation for that stretch of games with no off days. It's very possible. I mean, Hunter Dobbins has been throwing well, and I'm guessing this will be the window where we might see him. And I don't know, one of the bullpen guys goes down for a day or two. You bring him in, get him a start. I don't know if it would be a spot start or multiple starts, because, again, 17 games in 17 days. Keeping in mind that you've got a couple of guys, but specifically May and Leahy, who haven't worked heavy workloads the last couple years. So you probably don't want to overload them. Maybe this is the time where we start to see that 6th man. And then from there...
Well, just real quick on that, though, you have two things. The 26-man roster does create some restrictions in all this, because you have to replace guys. Matt Bichard is pitching well on a rehab assignment at some point, so if you want to bring him up, you're going to have to send somebody down. If you want to bring Hunter Dobbins up, you're going to have to send somebody down. These are not going to be easy things to make happen.
Right, and there'll be ways to do it, but I do think this is a good opportunity to give him a look.
I think you have to.
And it's soon anyway, because he's only got a 30-day rehab assignment because he's on the injury. So you would have to demote him if you're not going to bring him up before that time.
Which, if you're only bringing him up for a spot start, you're going to be doing anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see exactly how they want to roll with that. But this is kind of the point, is it's going to evolve. You're not going to boot anybody from the rotation in April. I understand completely the calls for Jimmy Crooks. I get it. I thought Chaim Bloom gave an interesting answer on that this past Sunday with Tom. Like, he gets it too, and the way he put it was, I'm happy people want to ask that question because it means he's doing well, and we want him to do well. But they're not going to make the move off of the guy they opened the season with as their number 1 in April. I'm with everybody. I want to see Jimmy Crooks too, but there's the what we want, and then there's the reality. And very few teams are going to change off their number 1 catcher in the first month of the season. You're just not going to do it.
And especially when the cost is potentially moving on from that player total.
Could be, but there are other ways they could navigate around that. But it will get, that time will come. It's in a different year where there's more urgency to win, I feel differently about these things.
I would too.
But in a rebuild year, it's fine. We just have to keep that mindset. All right, so we're going to talk a bit more about the questions we've gotten on the stream about Riley O'Brien and Bernie's piece. Talking about how great he's been and just raising the idea that it could be a good trade piece for the second half of the year. We'll hit a whole bunch of other things, and you guys want to throw in questions and comments, feel free as we continue on with the Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX.
Our annual Customer Appreciation Days are back. Save 10 to 20% on your garden and landscape needs on April 24th through 25th. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details. KMOX will be live on site Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
At 5:30, this update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got sunshine right now, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis metropolitan area's declining population is now getting serious. The whole region is number one for decline in birth rates.
SLU demographer Ness Sandoval says in 20 years,
schools will ask the question, where are the children?
He says this is an historic decline, but the trend actually began in 2008. The only way to reverse it is to convince young people to move here and start families. But despite affordability, here's the other problem.
We're no longer a major metropolitan region in terms of new housing starts. We're ranked 58th in the country. Every mid-tier major region is outperforming our region in terms of new housing starts.
Most new builds lately are apartments that families with kids don't really want. He says the decline in babies born is region-wide, including St. Charles County. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Missouri Senate passed a bill that shifts the focus of to the youngest victims of drunk driving. It would require drivers convicted of killing a parent or guardian while drunk to provide financial support for the surviving children. Republican State Senator Mike Henderson says his bill is known as Bentley and Mason's Law after a tragedy struck a family in his area of St. Francis County.
The mother and the father were killed. The 4-month-old was killed, and there were 2 boys, Bentley and Mason, that were left. They have a grandmother who's great and takes care of them. Some of them end up in foster care. Some of them end up in bad situations. It's a small step we can make to try to help make the lives of these children a little more whole.
The measure would allow courts to order support payments until a child turns 18 or in some cases 21, and it now advances to the Missouri House. The parents of the Loyola University Chicago freshman killed last month are speaking out for the first time. 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman was gunned down on an early morning walk with her friends just blocks from her dorm. Authorities say the suspect was living in the country illegally. CBS News correspondent Matt Gutman sat down with her parents, Jessica and Thomas Gorman.
Police arrested 26-year-old Jose Medina, a Venezuelan who authorities say entered the country illegally. His lawyer says her client lost a portion of his brain and skull after he was robbed and shot in the head in Colombia in 2018.
His lawyer said he had the mental capacity of a child.
He had the mental capacity and the wherewithal to buy a gun, to have a mask on, and to be waiting. The mask was on, and he had a gun pointed at my daughter when she passed him.
A child does not do that.
A man does not
shoot a retreating child in the back.
Another law firm is apologizing for its AI-generated errors in a court filing.
The elite Wall Street firm Sullivan & Cromwell says it deeply regrets that a recent motion it filed in federal bankruptcy court in Manhattan cited dozens of fake cases made up by AI. AI hallucinations are a growing problem in court filings. Last week, the Nebraska Supreme Court suspended the license of a divorce attorney who had filed an appeal that cited 57 fake cases.
The elephant in the room is whether or not you used artificial intelligence. Did you?
No, I did not.
He later admitted he had. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, for tonight, a clear sky, low 59 degrees. For tomorrow, breezy, sunny, high 83. Some showers well after midnight tomorrow night, low 65. And scattered showers, maybe a few non-severe storms on Friday with a high of 78. Right now, that's where we stand, 78, but no storms. It is sunny downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. Legacybox.com/radio.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year. This year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down. 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Love it when the playoffs roll around, especially in the NBA. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We are talking special drops you are not going to want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part, it happens every single day during the playoffs. So whether you're betting the early game or you're gearing up for prime time, just make sure to open the FanDuel app. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, and you can see what's waiting for you today. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Soar with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in Rachmaninoff's Third. Taking Flight. Assistant conductor Samuel Hollister and pianist Gabriela Montero make their SLSO classical subscription debut in Prokofiev's thrilling Third Piano Concerto. Enjoy Gabriela Smith's sky-inspired Tumblebird Contrails, Rachmaninoff's Third Symphony, April 24th and 25th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merit.
This is Matt Pauley. Join me for Building Community with Busey Bank Beyond the Game. Every great community project starts with people. Tomorrow, I talk with former Cardinal Scott Terry about making sure every kid out there gets a chance to learn how to play baseball. During the Redbird Rush Hour, sponsored by Busey Bank.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
This update brought to you by I-3 Broadband. Looking at a crash now northbound on Highway 270. It's over on the right side approaching Highway 70. It's in the exit lanes for Highway 70 on northbound Highway 270. Those two exit lanes are blocked. You can get around it to get onto eastbound and westbound Highway 70, though. You just have to pass the accident scene. So pay attention on northbound Highway 270 from north of Page, headed up towards Dorset. Crews quickly cleared a crash out of the way westbound on Highway 364 past Harvester. Still could see a lingering pocket of volume there westbound on 364, but it is easing pretty quickly. Headed eastbound on Highway 64, coming up the hill, still a pocket of volume coming up towards Clarkson from the Chesterfield Valley, but that accident out of the way. Southbound 270, you've got your normal pocket of volume south of Olive, headed down toward the work zone at Ladue, thinning out south of there between the Clayton Road overpass and Doherty Ferry. Westbound on 64, it's opening up as well, passing Forest Park, just pockets of stop and go right at the Science Center, then again at Hampton. West of there, a pretty good run making your way towards 170. Eastbound Highway 64, you're on the brakes now between McKnight and Big Bend. Southbound 55 looks good this afternoon, and we've got a new crash just called in southbound on Highway 270 near the Tees Road overpass approaching Highway 55. That's what's going on down south. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantee ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. I'm Frank Ladd of the michaelsflooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, it's Redbird Rush Hour here on a Wednesday. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you, hanging out till 6 o'clock, and then Matt's got you on Sports Open Line after that. Music today brought to you by Anthrax, Sound of White Noise from 1993, and DS Bill says John Bush is the superior Anthrax vocalist. I agree. Did you know they had two different vocalists, Matt Pauley?
No,
I know you didn't know that. Yep, they had him and Joey Belladonna, and John is more of like the gritty sound, and then Joey's a little higher, but they're both good. I loved them both, but I agree. John Bush is the better one. Just wanted to make sure we got that comment in there. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Riley O'Brien.
Okay, I can comment on that.
Riley O'Brien has been one of the best closers in baseball so far this year.
He absolutely has.
By every measure, regular and StatCast, you name it. He's been phenomenal. He's converting saves. He hasn't had a big blow up yet. It's been a year where closers have struggled. Like a lot of closers have struggled, some of them because of injuries. And Bernie did his video today for STL Sports Central about Riley O'Brien. And a part of that, and we got a couple questions on it, which is why I wanted to bring it up. Matt threw one out there, said on the rebuilding team note, what are your thoughts on Bernie's video today about possibly trading Riley O'Brien? And then Nick followed up and said, not sure if you guys saw Bernie's newest video, but would the plan really be to trade May and O'Brien if they're having good seasons? I would hope they try to give May like a 3-year contract extension. So let's talk Riley first, and then we'll bring in May. Here's the thought process on Riley O'Brien. You can keep him. There's nothing wrong with that. If he's continuing to have a good year and you decide to hang on to him, there's nothing wrong with that.
Especially if the team's kind of sticking around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think their place in the standings impacts the decision on something like that. I would agree. And the fact that he has multiple years of team control remaining is also kind of arguing in that favor. But, and this is the counter to that, closers and relievers are always highly sought after at the trade deadline. If he's going great and you're getting really high-end offers because he's got multiple years of control, and a contender can say, damn, not only do we get this guy now, but we can have him for 3 more years after this, you could get a Godfather offer of significant prospects for him in that scenario. And you have to consider it, and maybe even need to do it, based on 2 factors. 1, his history of injuries. 2, he's 31. 31-year-old relievers don't usually profile as long-term pieces of a rebuild. He could, because, again, the injuries have kept him from having a heavy workload. So if he can stay healthy, he probably ages pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. And again, this is not about saying you have to, but I think Bernie's point, I didn't watch the whole video, but I'm sure knowing Bernie, and you and I we talk to him all the time, it's going to be under these select circumstances. If he's going well, if the market is hot after him and you're getting these big offers, it's not at all a bad idea. In fact, it might be a brilliant idea. if you can get a top 100 prospect for a closer who's 31 and you're rebuilding, I think you have to really consider it. It does depend on where you are and other things that are happening, but this team has found closers over and over and over again over the years.
I think the idea compares more to the Brendan Donovan trade than it does like
Great point.
The Helsley trade or the Mats trade or the Gray trade or the Contreras trade. You really wanted to move those guys. They didn't feel like they fit in. Brendan Donovan would have fit in. You still had years of control on him. Like you didn't have to trade Brendan Donovan if you got an offer that
you knew you were going to get something.
Yeah. And they got a really good return for Brendan Donovan. We'll see in the years to come just how good the return was. But initial analysis would say they did well in the Brendan Donovan trade.
Right.
You'd have to feel that exact same way with Riley O'Brien, especially if the team is continuing to play pretty good baseball, especially if they're still in shouting distance of a playoff spot. You don't want to just punt on the season. But to your point, Kevin, top 100 prospects don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
And if you've got a chance to go get that kind of level of player, and that's the whole thing that we going back to what we talked about all off season long. This is a numbers game for the Cardinals. You got to go acquire as many prospects with high ceilings as possible, knowing full well that you're not going to hit on all of them. So if you've got 3 of them and you're going to hit on 1 out of 3, but then you got 4 of them and you're going to hit 2 out of 4. Like it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee that you're going to hit on whatever you get back from on Riley O'Brien, but it's going to just continue to increase the odds that you have some very remarkable players coming up.
And it's not a must. If you're not getting what you want, you have no reason to move him.
Yeah,
because you can just keep him and consider it the next year or
the offseason.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is not about like, oh, you have to do it. It's just, hey, you might be getting great offers. And for someone who's 31 with a history of arm problems, might not be the worst idea if it's going to be something where you're like, man, that's a top 100 pitcher. Or maybe it's a new power bat, who maybe is in high A ball or something, but is going to come fast at a position maybe you don't have a lot of depth right now.
And think what's going on. You mentioned closers really struggling right now.
Oh, yeah,
they're
variable, yes.
And then, Edwin Diaz goes down with an injury. He's got loose bodies in the elbow. I know.
The Dodgers might come calling.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm trying to make. If the Mets get themselves back into this thing and Devin Williams just is not performing for them, like there's a million different scenarios where there might be a team that's desperate.
I mean, there would probably be 10 to 12 contenders that want a cheap guy who's dominating.
Yeah.
And with years of control left. Like it's again, not saying you got to do it, but absolutely you have to look at it. Absolutely. And then the Dustin May side of that last question. If he's having a good year, why not sign him to a 3-year deal? I think you'd consider that.
Sure.
But you can also do that after the season. You could trade him and then come back to him in the offseason and say, hey, we loved it. And you can even have that conversation in advance. Hey, we love you. We're getting a really good offer. We're going to do this, but hey, we want to talk. We'd like to bring you back. I wouldn't mind a 3-year extension, but the player may not want to do that in season. The player might look at it like, I'm proving what I need to prove, and I want to see what the market's going to bear as opposed to taking what the offer is on the table from the only team that can bid on me.
And if you go do what you're doing, but go do it for a team that's going to get to the playoffs.
Sure, you're raising your value.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say he's doing what he's doing now, which is the last 3. He's given up 3 runs in his last 3 starts.
Which is good.
Yeah. He stunk in the first 2 by his own admission, but he's figured it out. He's throwing more competitive pitches, and with his stuff, competitive pitches are going to be good enough. If he's pitching well when you get to the deadline, again, you're going to have probably at least 7 or 8 contenders that are looking at a guy throwing 98, 99, even if they think of him as a 4th starter. That's valuable.
Real valuable.
In the playoffs, it's a really valuable thing to be like, yeah, my 4th starter comes out and he blows 99. Like that's so it's all about what the offers are and then, of course, where you are in the standings. But, yeah, if they signed him to a multi-year deal, if this continues, that's fine. But the player has to want that, too. And I don't know that the player, and this will probably be his last chance at a big multi-year deal if he has a good year. Because he's getting into his 30s. He's 29 now. The older you get, the less likely you're going to get that. So, got to keep that in mind. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on Redbird Rush Hour. We'll give you a tease on Sports Open Line and finish up with Cardinals Talk next on KMOX.
This is Matt Pauley. Join me for Building Community with Busey Bank Beyond the Game. Every great community project starts with people. Tomorrow, I talk with former Cardinal Scott Terry about making sure every kid out there gets a chance to learn how to play baseball. During the Redbird Rush Hour, sponsored by Busey Bank.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
All lanes back open now northbound Highway 270, just south of Highway 70. They did have those exit lanes partially blocked there, so all lanes back open there northbound on 270. Southbound on Highway 270 at the Tees Road overpass, just past it, there's a vehicle on its side off on the grass, just off the shoulder. So there's a tow vehicle on the scene blocking the right shoulder southbound on Highway 270 at the Tees Road overpass. That has you slowing now to take a look at that. Also some buy-in back towards Gravois southbound on Highway 270 this afternoon. Out of the city, southbound 55 looks good. We're thinning out westbound on Highway 64, just a heavy pocket at Hampton. Eastbound Highway 55-64 delay-free, crossing the Poplar Street Bridge into the Metro East. Still some delays southbound on 170 from Forest Park Parkway, headed down towards Highway 64. Those delays are mainly in that left lane, ramping onto Highway 64. Southbound 270 continues to open up as well, just off the pace at Ladue Road. South of there, pretty good run passing Manchester Road. Make your way down to Doherty Ferry. Westbound on 70, westbound on Highway 64. Not too bad, headed out towards Wentzville. I'm Frank Ladd at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, getting ready to wrap up Redbird Rush Hour. Sports Open Line is coming up after the news. What are we doing tonight on the Sports Open Line, my friend?
Bernie's going to be with us
Nice.
at 6:20 because it is a Wednesday. We'll do a lot of Cardinals. We'll also get a little Battlehawks action in there. Battlehawks players going to join us today. We'll talk a little city. So we got a lot to do, but mostly Cardinals.
Nice.
Yeah.
We leaving anything out that we should have gotten to today? I mean, we've covered most of the stuff we talked about
The bullpen, I thought, Swanson looked pretty good today. You hope that's
That's
the
one
start
of the best
something.
outings we've seen from him. 8 pitches, 1 inning, real simple.
Gordon Graceffo gave up two hits and then gets out of the inning without a run scoring. Even Ryan Fernandez pitches out of trouble. So if you were looking for a bright spot today, it was the bullpen.
I'll say this. The real numbers on Graceffo and Fernandez aren't bad. And Fernandez is striking people out, which is a good sign. But, man, their expected ERAs are both in the 5s.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's going to be bad because those things, you need a larger sample size for those things to truly tell the story, right? The reason we bring up expected numbers is that they have been proven to be more predictive than the regular numbers. The regular numbers are what ultimately matter because they are the reflection of what happened. So when you're measuring the past, looking at what has happened is going to tell you what the past meant. But when we're forecasting the future, the past doesn't forecast the future.
No.
It doesn't predict the future. Things that are underlying do that, right? Like how many strikes are you throwing? How many swings and misses are you getting? How many walks are you giving up as a hitter? How hard are you hitting it? How frequently are you hitting the ball hard? All those things. Those are more predictive when added together than what your batting average is after 24 games.
Yeah, I get what you're saying on Gordon Graceffo. I think we're going to get to the end of the season this year, and we're going to look at Graceffo much the same way we looked at like a Kyle Leahy last year.
I hope so.
I think he's going to turn into a guy.
They need it.
Yeah, multi-inning, high-leverage dude.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're going to see from Gordon Graceffo. There's going to be some bumps on the way to get to that point.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be, he's not going to have a .77 ERA.
I just want to see more swing and miss from him.
You would like to see that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be 12 per 9, but I'd like to see a little bit more swing and miss.
And I think that velocity can push up just a little bit more to go along with that.
Yeah, what's he around now, like 93?
I got to look and see.
93,
but
94?
I feel like last year there were times where we looked at the velocity and we went, oh.
Yeah, 96, 97
and
occasionally.
We have not seen that as much. So today for Graceffo, he topped out at, you know what? He topped out at 95.7 on the four-seamer today.
So he's probably averaging 94.
They put it at average at 95.
For today.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking the year, but it's close. That's about a little bit above league average. That's fine. And the velocity's not the concern. It's the swing and miss. That's the bigger concern, if there's going to be one.
Did he get any? He did not get a single swing and miss today.
Yeah, it's not an automatic doom and gloom. It's just a worrisome thing.
Right.
Yeah, it goes back into that's why those expected numbers are what they are. If the ball's put in play a lot, more things can go wrong. If you're missing the bat, nothing goes wrong. All right, buddy, have a good show tonight.
All right.
And then we'll get to do this again tomorrow.
Let's do it.
On Thursday. Got a full-on Thursday with a day off of the Cardinals. All right, Sports Open Line is next on KMOX.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy? Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mirafiber gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mirafiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support. All in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Hey, it's Matt and Leslie Holiday. When we got to St. Louis, it wasn't long before we started searching for a way to give back.
We visited Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, and we knew this is where we belonged.
Homers for Health has been going strong for 15 years and has made such an unbelievable impact on the hospital. I've won a World Series, but I consider the work we have done at Cardinal Glennon to be the greatest achievement.
Yes, your support truly makes a difference. Make your pledge for patients today at homersforhealth.org to benefit the devoted fund.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We're busy down south this evening. In southbound 141 at Old Lee May Ferry, a crash reported there. Just heard a crash called in over the scanner westbound on Highway 270, just past Highway 55. It says it's not blocking anything, so that's good news. Still watching this single vehicle crash southbound on Highway 270 at the Tees Road overpass. The tow truck is on the scene. The vehicle is on its side off the right shoulder. So the tow truck's on the right shoulder, partially blocking that right lane southbound on Highway 270 at the Tees Road overpass. We've got a stall out westbound Highway 70, just past Highway 79, that's blocking the left lane. That as you back up to Highway 79 west of there, headed out towards Lake St. Louis. Not bad this afternoon. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Wildfires in South Georgia have destroyed approximately 54 structures. Drought conditions, low humidity, and strong winds have been fueling the flames. So far, no major injuries have been reported. Bradley County Sheriff Len Davis.
Approximately 5,000 acres of property has been burnt. We're still at about a 10% containment.
Bradley County officials have ordered more evacuations on top of the existing 800. County Manager Joey Cason.
We saw a flash flare-up that happened. Within 5 minutes, it went from smoke to a fire. So just understand, this thing is a very dynamic situation that's changing in a matter of moments if the wind kicks in a certain way.
The Pentagon says the Navy secretary is leaving his position. No reason given by Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell for John Phelan's exit, but his departure is effective immediately. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson.
He will now be replaced, according to Mr. Parnell, by his undersecretary, Hung Kao, who did serve in the Navy, was an explosive ordnance disposal service member in the Navy. But this change does come as the Navy is playing a significant part in the ongoing war with Iran.
The fragile truce between Iran and the U.S. is extended indefinitely, but Iran renewed its attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz today. The U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ships, linked ships, that is also still in effect. And CBS's Natalie Brand at the White House reports.
Pakistan's prime minister, acting as a mediator, is urging both sides to observe the ceasefire and work toward a peace deal during a second round of talks in Islamabad.
But it remains unclear if or when that next round of in-person negotiations will take place.
The Trump administration is in discussions with Spirit Airlines about a possible bailout. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
President Trump said that he thought either another airline should buy Spirit or that his administration should take a look at helping the airline out. They employ about 15,000 people, many of them in the state of Florida. You know, they're looking at it and talking about this deal because the president told them to.
Spirit has been struggling because of rising jet fuel prices, growing labor costs, and operational issues. A federal appeals court has blocked a 2025 California law requiring federal immigration agents to wear some form of identification or a badge. CBS's Allison Keyes.
A 3-judge panel of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals issued an injunction pending appeal. The Trump administration challenged the California law, arguing that it would threaten the safety of officers who are facing harassment and violence, and also that it violated the Constitution because the state is directly regulating the federal government.
CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
At 6:04, we've got sunshine and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis region is #1 in a new category, decline in births.
The region has been in demographic winter for a while now, according to SLU demographer Ness Sandoval, meaning more people are dying here than being, but the number of babies born continues to drop.
For many people, this is invisible, but we're seeing a significant decline of, when you have a significant decline of babies, you'll see a decline in children eventually entering into our school system, and that decline will eventually leak into our workforce.
Sandoval says it's happening across the country, but most evident here. Areas that have reversed the trend are places young people are moving to and starting families. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Police are investigating after a man was shot and killed in the afternoon near the Del Mar Loop. It happened at about 3 p.m. in the 700 block of Hodemont. The Jeff Vanderloo Neighborhood Association is concerned about a potential project on a once contaminated site.
Despite the EPA reporting they have successfully cleaned the site in 2020, locals are concerned contaminants are remaining
training at the Carter Carburetor site, where the Boys and Girls Club wants to build a youth golf recreational area. However, there are no signs a groundbreaking is imminent. Carla Alexander with the Jeff Vanderloo Neighborhood Association was asked if they know whether the project is still happening.
They never gave us a solid date. It was last year when we reached out to them. They said possibly the construction can start in the fall of last year, but it didn't. So we're not sure.
Alexander says if the project moves forward, the ground should be retested first. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A St. Louis cannabis shop that was selling THC products disguised as children's candy is shutting down. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway announced that Pressure STL, an unlicensed dispensary on South Broadway, has agreed to immediately cease operations and destroy all of its products after the AG filed suit against it in February. The shop was accused of selling marijuana and psychoactive hemp products packaged to look like well-known candy and snack brands. Hanaway says Missourians should avoid unlicensed dispensaries, which often sell untested, possibly contaminated products. When St. Louis hears about a $3 billion new stadium in Kansas City for the Royals, the first question might be who's paying for it. The Royals are covering 2/3 of the cost, but the state is pitching in. Governor Mike Kehoe says the state's share comes from retaining taxes that would otherwise leave for Kansas.
This does not affect any existing programs. There's people that say, well, if you do this for them, then if the Royals were not here, we'd have zero. And so these tools are designed about keeping those revenue streams and those income flows here. And that makes it a net positive for the state and for the investment.
Mayor Quinton Lucas emphasizes the public funding will rely on existing revenues without introducing new taxes. The Royals plan a new stadium in the Crown Center district that would displace the Hallmark World Headquarters, which would relocate within the district. Let's get you a check on the roads now. Frank Ladd of the Traffic Center.
Crew is still working on this accident, this overturned vehicle southbound on Highway 270 at the Teats Road overpass. They're getting it up on a flatbed truck right now, so that's the good news. Still blocking that right shoulder, right lane. Still some pockets of volume south of Graboy headed down toward the Teats Road overpass. We had a new crash just called out westbound on Highway 44. This one is just west of, looks like Highway 270. Sounded like a single vehicle crash into a guardrail. Our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route this afternoon is westbound on Highway 64. We've thinned out passing Forest Park, headed out towards 170. This update brought to you by the Missouri Historical Society's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, a neon display, kids, crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. I'm Frank Ladd on the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Our quiet weather pattern continues and temperatures still running a little bit above average. Mostly clear skies tonight. Evening temperatures, just think in the 70s. 59 for the overnight low. On Thursday, sunny, breezy, 83 for the high on Thursday. Thursday night, clouds take over. The evening is dry, but a couple of showers start to develop after midnight Thursday night, 65. Friday, clouds with scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms here and there, but this is not a severe weather outbreak. 78 for the high, though there could be some areas of heavy downpours of rain from time to time. Friday night, clouds, fading showers in the evening, 54. The weekend, Saturday, pretty sunny skies, 76. Sunday, partly sunny, maybe a spotty shower, 75. Another increase in rain developing on Sunday night. Not too bad. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
We've got sunshine right now. It is 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, here we go. Welcome in. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line. It's been a big sports day here at KMOX. We had early Cardinals, like really early Cardinals baseball. Pregame was at I think 10:20 in the morning this morning, and had a game that moved along pretty quick. Had post game. Kevin and I just did Redbird Rush Hour, and now here we are with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Have you for the next 2 hours taking you until 8 o'clock tonight. Always appreciate you making us a part of your evening, or if you're listening to us on the podcast, on the archive, maybe go back and watch the video stream, whatever it might be. Just thanks for spending some time with us, and we appreciate you being tuned in. As always, if you do want to chime in, for those of you who are watching us live, you can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air, or you can leave a comment on the video stream for those of you who are watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. On weekday day games, we always do kind of the abbreviated extra inning show where we don't do all the phone calls and text and everything. We save that for Sports Open Line. So I'll tell you now, this hour, Bernie Miklasz is going to join us in about 10 minutes. And then in the segment after, that's where we're going to open up the phone lines and everything to talk through. So if you've got some thoughts on your mind coming out of this game today, we'll give you that opportunity to chime in. I know we touched on this. It matters to me, even though this is a different show than Redbird Rush Hour, I try, I don't always succeed, I try to not just like do the exact same topics that we did in Redbird Rush Hour here on Sports Open Line, but I'm also understanding the fact that we do have a little bit of a different audience during this hour, and there are some things that are worth bringing back. And I want to touch on this at the beginning, and I guess my point that I want to get, let me get to the end of my point before I get to the beginning of my point, which is not the best way to argue things, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. We don't have to find reasons to be upset about things. We don't have to find reasons to be upset about things. And that's something that at times frustrates me, because things can be going well and people find things that are not necessary, like, and I'm not even talking about like bad things happening in the game. That's not what I'm talking about. That's bad stuff that happens in the game. Totally valid to be upset about. But sometimes we get stuck in like these filters of right now. And in baseball, a 162 game schedule where one day leads into the next, where 1 week leads into the next, one series leads into the next, 1 month leads into the next, and everything is connected. It's really good to take a step back, and not every game is the biggest game in the world. Not every game is going to be the decider of whether or not you're a division champion, whether you make the playoffs, not whether you're an above 500 team. Now, I know some people will say, hey, the games in April and May mean the same as the games that are played in August and September. And you know what? You're right. I'm not arguing that. They're all worth the same. They're all one of 162. But sometimes we get so caught up in the right now, we forget that the cost of doing something differently right now can be what happens in the next series, the next week, the next month, so on and so forth. And that's what happened today when we once again had this asinine argument about the lineup that Oliver Marmol put together. And baseball managers from the beginning of time, maybe not the beginning of time, but certainly recently. And we can go back to Tony La Russa's name has probably been said on St. Louis radio more today than any other day in recent history, because today's lineup very much felt like one of those famous Tony La Russa Sunday afternoon lineups where a bunch of key players were given the day off and people were upset about it. And Kevin brought up the fact earlier today, we were talking about on the Dave Glover show, how the lineup would be out as Tony was doing sports on a Sunday morning here on KMOX, and people would be calling in, yelling at him about the lineup. So what was true in 1999 was true in 2005, was true in 2008, was true in, just on and on and on. The lineup today left a little bit to be desired. It was not the Cardinals' best lineup. And the Cardinals also did not perform well from an offensive standpoint. Not running away from any of those very true facts. But you need to get guys off their feet. You need to give guys a day. And you have two options. You can intersperse the days off, where a guy gets a day off here and a guy gets a day off there and a guy gets a day off here. And then all of a sudden your lineup is compromised 3, 4, 5 times over like a week to 2 week period. Or you can give a bunch of guys off. That's the day off on one day. The lineup is not especially good that day, but those guys get the day. And it's even more impactful when it's happening in front of a day off. So you get those guys 2 days off in front of a stretch of where you're playing 17 games in 17 days. Like, this is not the end of the world, the lineup that the Cardinals put together today. It's not the end of the world that the Cardinals lost this game. And if they play well over these next 17 games against really, really tough opponents, I think it's going to be fair to circle back this date. If Alec Burleson and Mason Wynn and Jordan Walker have a good next 2-3 weeks, how much of that can be connected to them getting these 2 days off? Helping guys survive 162 games is a really important part of baseball. It's an incredibly important part of baseball that I think people forget about in the minutia of the everyday nature of this game. Because you get up, you look at the lineup, and you go, that lineup isn't very good. And you're just worried about today. Well, be worried about next week. Be worried about next month. You don't want to lose a bunch of games because you got worn down guys. You don't want to lose a bunch of games because you're giving a day off here and you're giving a day off there. Yeah, they lost today, and they didn't look good offensively. And if we want to trace that back to the lineup that was penciled in for today, that's fine. I don't know if that's true, but I'm not going to argue it. I think you can make a very compelling argument of why that's true. But over 162 games, getting guys off their feet, giving them day off, and using off days to give guys even more rest, that's valuable. That's really valuable, and that is how teams survive 162 games. So I was not engaging today in this conversation. This was, I don't know how you feel about it, because the social media audience, they were upset. They were upset today with the lineup that was rolled out there. And even if it cost the Cardinals a chance to win a series, even if it cost the Cardinals to win a game, there is a lot more value to it as the Cardinals play the next 130 or so games this year. All right, we are going to take a break, and when we return, our good friend Bernie Miklasz is going to join us. I know he's got strong thoughts on this. We'll probably start him with that and go from there. You're locked in. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. Legacybox.com/radio.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-965-6698. 800-965-6698 or biglou.com.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisements.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. Like that morning status meeting, always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some power bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Bernie Nicholas on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the Bagel Loan, and by Salika Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer.
Back at it. It's a Great Bar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. It is Wednesday. It's around 6:20. Whenever we have shows at this time, we welcome in our good friend Bernie Nicholas. You hear him all over KMOX. Redbird Rush Hour, Gas House Gang, Sports on a Sunday Morning, Dave Glover Show, and then you read him and you watch him with daily videos and daily columns over at STL Sports Central, where he works incredibly hard, giving you information and data that, quite honestly, you're not going to see and hear anywhere else. If you want to learn about the Cardinals and a lot of sports in the St. Louis area, reading and watching Bernie is a really, really smart way to go about doing that. And he joins us right now. Hi, Bernie.
I'm doing good, Matt. Thanks for the kind words, brother. I love you.
I think that I've mentioned this to you before, but like outside of like my dad, who has had the largest impact on me from like a sports perspective, you are like probably in top 5 because you were the local sports columnist that I just could not get enough of growing up. So as I have become what I am now, you should know that you are part of that origin story.
Well, I'm flattered by that. It means a lot to me. And one of the things that is really cool about me reuniting with KMOX is that I've had a chance to get to know you really well, a chance to become friends with you. and that has really been a joy. So your compliments to me, right back at you, pal.
Appreciate
Seriously.
it.
Thank you.
All right, so here's my admission, and I'm going to explain why. I was really rooting for the Cardinals to just score a bunch of runs today and get a lot of hits and have a great offensive day, because we all woke up to a lineup that was not the Cardinals' best lineup. And then we got the reaction of people being really upset about it, despite the fact that we have seen this time and time again, and there's reasons to give veterans a day off and reasons to utilize an off day and a day off in front of an off day. And Tony La Russa used to do it, and we would see times when Tony would put lineups out like this, and the team would really go out there and play well. So I just really wanted the team to have a great offensive day, just to kind of shut those people up. That did not happen. They scored 1 run on 4 hits.
Well, at the risk of sounding kind of rude, and I don't really want to be rude, but this kind of thing always cracks me up, because I told you and Wheeler in a text message today, it reminds me of the cats we have. We love our cats. But so I'll pull out a toy, and it's a toy that like some pole with the string and like a feather on it or something. And they've seen this toy like a million times, right? They in other words, there's no surprise. They know the toy. They like the two. But they look at it like it's something they have never seen before, and they're just bewildered and amazed and almost shocked to see it. And then they start playing with it, and it's like, dudes, it's like you play with this thing all the time. Why are you acting like you never seen it before? That's what these getaway day lineups are. And the people that overreact to them are like my cats overreacting to a toy that they really know, but they act like they've never seen it. So it irritates me, but I actually think it's kind of funny just to watch people melt down. And, it's really funny for a baseball town. I'm not sure why so many baseball fans think this is the NFL and you only have 17 or 18 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's not the Super Bowl. They got 85% of their games left.
Yeah.
They got some beat up players in the lineup. And they lost the game today because the guys they did play, who are professional baseball players, good enough to have they're like one of roughly 600-700 people in the world that have these jobs.
Mm-hmm.
As a team, they took horrendous at bats today. They were rushing through the game. It's like they had a plane to catch, which literally they did. But I crunched some numbers. If people want to read them, go to STLSportsCentral.com, because the stuff is so bad, it's actually funny, but it's also very revealing. They took so many bad at-bats because they were rushing through those at-bats. That Cardinals team that we love, because of the way they grind at-bats and the way they compete and the way they go hard, they were just flat today. They weren't into it. It does happen, believe it or not, over 162 games. It does happen from time to time, and we saw one of those times today. But, this team that's really, really good about taking a lot of pitches and fighting off the pitchers. There was only one guy in the lineup who really did that today, and that was Nathan Church.
Who's playing well, yeah.
I'll give you an example. I love J.J. Weatherholt, right?
Yeah.
Right? He's unbelievable. He's great as a leadoff guy. And one of the reasons he's great as a leadoff guy is because he extends at bats, he fights pitchers, he wears them out mentally and physically, and makes them work and work and work. All right, he had 4 at bats today. Every single at bat he had today, exactly 3 pitches. And I'm not saying this to rip the kid. I love him. But I'm just telling you, it was one of those days, and there were a lot of guys in that lineup doing the same thing. They like the Miami starting pitcher, for example, in the first 4 innings, do you know what the starting pitcher, the average amount of pitches for the first 4 innings?
He finished with like 50 some odd pitches. So for the first 4, it's probably like 11 pitches an inning, 10 pitches an inning?
Not 9.5 pitches per inning.
All right.
So this ain't the lineup.
Yeah.
This is about people that just didn't do their job and didn't execute today. But it's always easy. It's always lazy. It's always fun when you don't have to think about anything. You just this rote reflex. You just blame everything on the manager. By the way, whoever the manager is at the time, because I can tell you when I was hosting Bernie's press box at STL Today, no one ever had hosted an online forum like that, a columnist. No one had done it. And every time La Russa would play one of his kind of funky lineups, and you're like, man, what did he do with this? This is really funny today. So people would lose their minds. So I'm used to this. And, you know, on one hand, I get it because people love their team. They want to see them to win. But I heard you when I was waiting to come on, and I'm sorry to be talking so much, but, you know, that's the problem here. People just refuse to process the fact that it's such a long season. And also people don't, a lot of times, and this includes me as well, don't really know what's going on. I mean, some of these guys get beat up and they're not injured per se, but they're really hurting. They're really banged up. I'll give you guys a great example, and I don't care if he had a great game last night. Alec Burleson's played every game this season. Alec Burleson in Houston, and even in Miami. If you think about, you replay those games in your mind, this guy is belly flopping all over the place, diving into bases, diving after ground balls. He tore his uniform 2 or 3 times, you know, covered with infield dirt. I mean, this guy, like, he was playing like a football player, you know. My gosh, I'm glad that he got a break today. I'm glad that he got a break today.
Yeah, I am too. I'm gonna read you a text message, Bernie, and like my initial reaction is to like scoff at this individual. I want to take it more like an explanation of why this individual is incorrect in what they say, because the text message reads, "These aren't 50-year-olds. A 25-year-old can play 162 games with days off provided." And like when I hear that, I'm like, come on. But I think people need to understand, we have never known more about the human body than we know now. And we do know that most guys can't play 162 games like that, certainly without being compromised. And you can see the data on the recovery, and we now know like what like that's not a true statement. I'll tell you a story. I was doing post game.
And real quick, I want you to continue real quick. See, this person, with all due respect, has no idea what they're talking about. That's number one. But the other thing is they're concentrating on the physical. Perhaps the bigger challenge is, and I don't care how old you are, it's the mental fatigue. It's the mental toughness. It's the mental, it's what it does in terms of like you get mentally tired and you're not as sharp as you should be. And we saw an example of that today. Don't forget about the mental part. Yeah. This has nothing to do with how old you are.
No,
you can get mentally worn out because it's not easy to play that game, especially as hard as this team plays. I just don't understand people anymore. I really don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, so I'm doing Brewers post game, and I think it was 2017, so that would have been the Christian Yelich MVP season. He's having an amazing year, and he played a ton of games in a row, and the Cubs are coming in town, and it's a huge series, and they don't have Yelich in the lineup one day. And Craig Counsell comes and does his pregame media session, and he says, we've got the biometrics on Yelich. We know where his body is at. If we play him today, we are legitimately worried that he is going to suffer an injury that could keep him out for a while, that we believe it would be a dangerous scenario. His body literally needs a day today. We know that information based off where his body's at. And you would have thought that the world was ending and Craig Counsell was the worst manager in the world when people saw that Yelich was out of the lineup. People don't want to hear about the fact that maybe somebody needs a day off every once in a while.
Well, I'll say this though, it kind of makes me feel better to know that in Wisconsin, the home of the Green Bay Packers, even fans up there, every game's the freaking Super Bowl. So yeah. I guess that's good to know, right? I guess this is a widespread malady.
It is. Yeah.
Can I give you another example of like basically 3 regulars sat out today? It was Walker, Burleson, and Wynn. I was even getting texts from my friends who were going nuts because Walker was out. Guy, he's just got the second most home runs in the National League. This, that. Okay, sure. We love Jordan Walker. Can I tell you what happened? And if everybody watched the games and paid attention, you saw Jordan Walker in Houston in particular, but it carried through to Miami. You saw him running the bases like a wild man. You saw him throwing people out, playing at such a high rate of intensity. His base running was great. He's 255 pounds, but he runs like a sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is just tearing his way around the bases to set up runs because he hasn't been hitting much, but he's doing everything he can to get in a position to score. Okay, now let's talk. So in other words, like I watched his effort and I thought this is fantastic. Because he's not hitting very well, but look at him competing. Look at how hard he's going on every single thing he does. I thought that was excellent because he can't hit home runs every game. I'll give you the reason why he didn't play today. First of all, one of the reasons was what I just talked about. I think he actually was physically tired. And no wonder if anybody paid attention who saw that, they would understand that. But in the last 6 games before today, and he didn't play today, he's batting 200 batting average. And you know what a strikeout rate was?
It's high 30s, low 40s, right?
43%.
Okay, yeah.
Last 6 games.
Yeah.
He was starting to chase bad pitches again. I'm not saying, the sky's falling. My point is he looked like a guy who probably really could use a blow, because he was sort of reverting back to bad habits. I think he was mentally tired. Physically, I know he punished himself. So you have a guy that you really need to lean on the entire season. And the last week or so, he's kind of gone back into some of the stuff that he had to, put in the past. And so I'm not sure the guy has like a 43% strikeout rate and hit 200. You can't see the wisdom in giving him a break. You're going to need this guy, okay? Let him catch his breath, all right?
I said it on the postgame show last night. This presents Oliver Marmol a great opportunity to give Jordan Walker a day off. Little did I know what this day was going to turn into when I said that last night on the show, Bernie. So yeah, such is life. Before we get you out of here, we've had a ton of people commenting since Redbird Rush Hour came on the air. Lots of people were asking Kevin and me our thoughts on your video about if the Cardinals have an opportunity to trade Riley O'Brien and get a really good piece back for him, that would make a little bit of sense. So that, if you did not know, that video has certainly caught the attention of a lot of folks out there. And I think it's a tough thing because the team is playing really well right now, and Riley O'Brien is one of the stars of this team. He's literally one of the best relief pitchers or just pitchers walking the face of the earth right now based off his current results. But we also need to remember he's 31 years old. He has had injury issues during his career, and the Cardinals are not in a competitive mode right now, even if they're winning a whole bunch of games. If you get that offer that you can't refuse, then you have to at least look at it.
Where I'm coming from in this, I'm not advocating. I hope people understand this. I'm not advocating trading Riley O'Brien. Man, he has been a marvel. And I was really slow to catch on about how really great he is. And I have some numbers in there that'll blow people away. So I'm not advocating it personally. What I'm doing is I'm remembering what Chaim Bloom has already told us, 50,000 times, maybe, where everything is about the long term. Every single time there's a decision to make, it's going to be based on the long term rather than short term. All you had to know, it's one thing for him to trade Contreras and Gray and Arenado. They're older guys and all that stuff. It's different. But he didn't hesitate to trade Brendan Donovan, who, was a terrific player and an important player and a popular player and an all-star player, or all-star caliber player, gold glove guy, all that. And someone who really kind of fueled this lineup and played his tail off. And they had 2 more years of team control. So my point is, if he was willing to not even bat an eye to trade Brendan Donovan as soon as he got the offer that he wanted. Why would anyone think he suddenly would break from everything he's told us his philosophy is about this season? Why would somebody think that all of a sudden he's going to totally flip-flop and go the opposite way? I don't see it. And he did an interview with my friend Josh Jacobs at Deal in the Cards, which is a great podcast.
Yeah,
and
they did a really good job. They did a great job with that interview.
And all those guys, man, they really like him. But they asked Chaim Bloom about this again, and he couldn't be more emphatic about, in effect, like, if I got to make tough decisions, look, it's not easy, but you got to make tough decisions. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. Listen, the one thing I said in the video, and I hope people will also remember, is I said, like, Chaim Bloom's not going to give Riley O'Brien away. If Riley O'Brien's pitching really, really well and he's healthy and all that, they don't have to trade him now. They don't have to trade him this summer. If they're underwhelmed by the offers, well, Chaim Bloom can keep him. That would be the reason he's keeping him, because he's going to wait to get his price, just as he waited to get his price, and he got it with Brendan Donovan. There's a direct parallel there.
I agree, 100%.
And in all honesty, I love this team. I love watching them play. I really do. We all talk about that. But with the pitching problems they have and some pretty gaping holes in the lineup, do we really think this is a playoff team?
Probably not. I leave open the possibility that they stick around 500, and if everything goes right, they kind of do what the Reds did last year. I think that is their absolute ceiling.
Yeah, that's reasonable. And listen, I hope they push and push and push, and they give Chaim Bloom something to think about. But nobody should be shocked by the idea of me or anyone else talking about Riley O'Brien is so great this season. It means one thing: Chaim Bloom's going to trade him, because the offers, I would think, if he's healthy and all that, the offers would be outstanding, especially with all these teams around baseball getting relievers and closers hurt or closers blowing up. There's going to be a real shortage come late July for teams that think they have a chance to go a long way, but they're worried sick about closing games out. And Riley O'Brien also will have 4 years left of contract control after this one. So that's another reason why Chaim Bloom could exact a huge price, I think, for a healthy, thriving Riley O'Brien.
He is Bernie Miklasz. I always love our conversations. Bernie, we'll talk again, I guess, on Friday. I know you've got other stuff during the week, but thank you for your time, and we'll catch up again later.
All right, my friend. Take care.
All right, very good. That is Bernie Miklasz joining us here on the program, and we appreciate him taking some time. All right, so this next segment, this is the segment because, again, day game today. We don't do the full extra inning show where we take the phone calls and everything. We're going to open up the phone lines right now at 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. You can also tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air. We've got text messages coming in. This is going to be your opportunity to talk through all things Cardinals baseball, reactions to today's game, reaction to what we're talking about with the players being off today, all of that. Welcome in your phone calls, your text messages, and your tweets. 314-436-7900, your video messages as well. We're back with more in just a moment right here on KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
A new game day favorite is coming to Busch Stadium on Saturday, April 25th, when the Cardinals host the Seattle Mariners. That day, fans take home a Victory Blue Cardinals crewneck sweatshirt presented by Purina, a light and easy style that's perfect for spring and designed to fit right into your everyday wardrobe. Available in medium and extra large while supplies last. A limited look you'll want to wear again and again. Tickets and info at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Jose Fermin. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Redbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/kidssunday.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
All right, here we go. This is our kind of feedback segment. We don't have a ton of time, and I want to get to as many people as possible, so let's just jump right in the phones. Harrison has given us a call. Hey, Harrison, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hey, how's it going, Matt?
Doing all right.
Hey, I was just going to chime in support of what Mr. Derek Gould was saying. I mean, I was going to go even further and say, even if we're 10 or 15 games over 500 at the break and, somehow leading the division, I would still be looking to follow the blueprint that Chaim Bloom has laid out and, deal Riley O'Brien, deal Lars Nootbaar. I would even, go as far as to throw Alec Burleson in there. He's already 27. Realistically, in my mind, it's probably 3-4 years before we're able to make a deep run in the playoffs. Like, anything we can do to trade these guys that have value and get packages of prospects back, let's do it.
All right, Harrison.
Redbird for all I care. Let's do it.
No, don't go that far. That's the line that we can't cross, Harrison. Appreciate the phone call for sure. Yeah, look, I think you have to be open to a lot of these moves because, again, it's about bringing as much talent in as possible. You're not going to hit on everybody, but the more guys you have that have high ceilings, the more you're going to hit on, and that's going to get this team competing at the highest level a little sooner. I don't know if it's going to be 3-4 years. I feel like that's a little bit longer than it's actually going to be, but the point by Harrison is well said. Let's go to Andrew, who's giving us a call. Hey, Andrew, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my take is kind of just to echo off the sentiment that I think Cardinals fans, we've gotten a little spoiled, and, we've had the luxury of being able to look down and respect the championship run, but truth of the matter is we've got to commit to the long term. And if you can't pick your head up and look at where you're going, you ain't going to ever get there. And so the model, with the small market, you got the Rays getting success with that market size. I think you got to commit there and you got to do those pieces.
Yeah, Andrew, I appreciate it. And, St. Louis plays bigger than some of these other markets for sure. I cringe a little bit when I hear small market, but at the same time, go look at the TV deals that the teams in New York and in Chicago and LA are getting. And the Cardinals are playing at a different financial level. Now, I think they can punch above their weight compared to like the Cincinnatis and the Pittsburghs, which are cities kind of similar sizes. I think they're a step in front of them, but they're not what those other teams are. So figuring out how to get back on that, being competitive every single year with cost-controlled players, and then picking and choosing the players that you do want to extend and try to go kind of the Atlanta Braves model, that's where you go. But you got to get back to that point first and have that true pipeline that's rolling through, and you got guys coming in every day. Let's grab another phone call. Matt, great first name, is joining us. Matt, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hey, Matt, I like what you just said. I'm going to bring up another reference, which would be Andrew Friedman's Tampa Bay Rays, which is where Chaim Bloom cut his teeth. And you'll recall, he introduced the idea of arbitrage into baseball, meaning when you're looking at trade possibilities, you're looking at your player as whether or not he's at his highest value he's ever going to be, or as far as you think it is, as high as he's ever going to be. So the question with Riley O'Brien for me is, if he continues this to the trade deadline, do we ever think his value is going to be higher than this? I think the likelihood is no. It's never going to be higher than this, so this is the time you trade him. And I'll just say, as a reference for Cardinal fans that are struggling with this, think back to Tyler O'Neill 2021. That's another injury-prone player who pulled off a miracle season. If he was a Ray, he absolutely would have been traded after that season because they knew he never would have been higher than that. Thanks, Matty.
Yeah, Matt, appreciate the phone call as well. It's very to Matt's point, and I think he said it well. In some ways, it's like the stock market, right? You've got a stock, you're holding on to it, and you're trying to predict at what point it has hit its highest point. And when you think it's there, you move on. Now, the one difference there is we're talking about human beings. I get that. That is an important part of this. And I also would say this. I think the Cardinals still have to put a competitive team on the field. I don't think putting the competitive team on the field outweighs trying to bring in as much high-level talent that's going to help them in the future. But what they're doing right now is completely appropriate. The Cardinals this offseason traded away Sonny Gray, Wilson Contreras, Brendan Donovan, Nolan Arenado. And they are still a very competitive club. And I always thought they were going to be a very competitive club. And when you looked at those trades, I love Sonny Gray. The overall, what you were replacing, though, in terms of his production from last year, in the aggregate, you were probably going to be able to replace much of that. Wilson Contreras is one of the more underrated offensive players in all of Major League Baseball. But with Alec Burleson going over to first base, you were going to be able to replicate a lot of that production. Because J.J. Weatherholt was getting here, you were going to be able to replicate some of what you got from Brendan Donovan. And we know that Nolan Arenado, as hard as he has played, just he wasn't producing that much. So he's almost out of the equation here. So what you were actually replacing, and if you want to call it a downgrade to where you were going, it wasn't actually that much of one. And that's part of the reason I always thought the team was going to be competitive and not far off what they were last year. So I think it's important that they do that. But if there's an opportunity to make your organization better, really better, by moving on from somebody, I don't think you close that door almost no matter what. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
The Netherlands will be the first European nation allowing Tesla owners to use the company's full self-driving software following 18 months of testing, although with mandatory human supervision on highways and city streets. Elon Musk is counting on full self-driving approval around the globe, as Tesla's $1.3 trillion market valuation has largely been fueled by market hopes for the company's robotaxi business. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
You know, most sellers put their home on the market and they just wait to see what happens. Well, I'm Kevin Wheeler, and I'm here with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And Gloria, is there a better way to sell?
There is. Instead of listing your home the traditional way and hoping for the right buyer, I can get you up to 8 competitive cash offers right from the start. That means you're not guessing what your home might sell for. You're looking at the real offers and choosing the one that works the best for you. It also helps you to set the right price and create stronger demand if you decide to go to market. It gives you control, leverage, and a clear path forward before you accept just any offer. And remember, I'll guarantee to sell your home at 100% of the market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Before you sell your home, See what your options are. Call the one that I trust. That's Gloria Lou, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. One day after voters approved Virginia's new congressional maps, which could have tilted as many as 4 House district seats in Democrats' favor, a judge blocks the state from using them. Political analyst Larry Sabato.
The state Supreme Court indicated quite a few months ago that they would let the referendum go forward, but they were going to reconsider motions that had been placed before it to suggest this referendum was unconstitutional or improperly constituted.
In a brief order today, State Court Judge Jack Hurley found that the referendum violated several clauses of the Virginia Constitution, arguing it skirted a 90-day public notice requirement and calling the question that was presented to voters flagrantly misleading. Even with the ceasefire still in effect, the battle between the U.S. and Iran for control of the Strait of Hormuz carries on, with Iran attacking commercial vessels today. CBS's Charlie D'Agata has more from Tel Aviv.
Iran says the attacks were in retaliation for the U.S. blockade and seizure of 2 vessels this week. A member of Iran's parliament taunting an eye for an eye, a tanker for a tanker.
The Senate has rejected the 5th attempt by Democrats to rein in President Trump's ability to use further military force against Iran. Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania voted with Republicans against it, while GOP Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky voted with Democrats in favor. Republican Senator from North Carolina Tom Tillis tells CBS's Major Garrett.
What we're looking at right now is discussion around an AUMF, authorization for the use of military force. So to legitimize this effort and send the message to Iran that Congress is behind it. But in order for us to gain support for that, we have to have specifics.
The Pentagon says the Navy Secretary is leaving his position. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell posted on X that John Phelan is departing the administration effective immediately. The Pentagon gave no reason for Phelan's departure. It comes just weeks after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth fired the Army's top officer. Phelan had not served in the military. He was a major donor to President Trump's campaign.
Georgia Congressman David Scott has died. He was the Democrats' ranking member on the Agriculture Committee. And CBS's Elizabeth Cook reports.
Scott spent more than 2 decades in the House of Representatives and served 23 years in Congress. His death comes as he was running for a 13th term in the May primaries. While he wasn't heavily campaigning, the popular congressman dismissed any pressure to retire.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
At 7:03, we've got sunshine and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. St. Louis's declining population is getting serious. The metro area is now #1 for declines in birth rates.
SLU demographer Ness Sandoval says in 20 years...
Schools will ask the question, where are the children?
He says this is an historic decline, but the trend actually began in 2008. The only way to reverse it is to convince young people to move here and start families. But despite affordability, here's the other problem.
We're no longer a major metropolitan region in terms of new housing starts. We're ranked 58th in the country. Every mid-tier major region is outperforming our region in terms of new housing starts.
Most new builds lately are apartments that families with kids don't really want. He says the decline in babies born is region-wide, including St. Charles County. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The new downtown Kansas City Royals Stadium is being pitched as an economic win for the entire state, not just KC. With 20,000 construction jobs on the line, Governor Mike Kehoe says a revitalized western border draws regional tourism dollars that benefit Missouri as a whole.
Their presence downtown will drive meaningful economic activity from job creation and tourism to supporting small businesses, which benefits not just the Kansas City region, but it has communities across the state. The ripple effect from this facility will truly be far-reaching into rural Missouri and other parts of the state.
With the World Cup also coming to Arrowhead, the state is banking on an influx of new global spending. The Royals are moving to Crown Center, which is also the headquarters for Hallmark Cards. The Jeff Vanderloo Neighborhood Association is asking the Boys and Girls Club to retest the soil at the Carter Carburetor site where they plan to build a youth golf recreation area. Asked about the EPA cleaning the site back in 2020, Carla Alexander says she wants to see it retested just in case.
They're going to have to test the soil, the water, the air, and it has to be a thorough evaluation along with an emergency plan. What if the cap starts leaking? You know, it's a lot of things going on that aren't in place and they're not being transparent with the community.
This is also the area of the former Sportsman's Park. In a statement to KMOX, Brandon Williams, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, said they have adhered to all required regulatory processes and will share additional plans for the site in the future. The Midwest's oldest Earth Day Festival is coming to Forest Park this weekend. To mark its 37th year, the festival will be bringing back a beloved activity.
There is a very beloved aspect of the festival from its early years. It was called the All Species Parade, and so people would dress up as animals and like the kids get involved, and so they're going to be doing that on Saturday morning at about 11.
Jessica Watson is executive director of Earth Day 365, the nonprofit that puts on the festival. She says last year's festival brought over 20,000 people. With the warm weather this weekend, she says they could see record numbers. The forecast from Dave Murray: clear sky tonight, overnight 59 degrees. For tomorrow, sunshine, breezy, high 83, clouds and showers well after midnight for Thursday night, low 65. And for Friday, could see a non-severe storm, windy with a high of 78. Right now, we've got sunshine. It is 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We are back at it as we roll into hour number 2 of the program. We're going to talk a fair amount this hour about the Battlehawks. They had a tough loss this past weekend at D.C., losing 28-22. They've got a huge one coming up this weekend. They're going to take on Anthony Becht and the Orlando Storm, the undefeated Orlando Storm. And right now we are very happy to welcome on to the program. He is a wide receiver with the Battlehawks. He is Blake Jackson. Blake, thank you so much for taking some time with us. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, when you guys suffer a tough loss like this past weekend, how quickly are you able to kind of put that thing in the rearview mirror and start locking in on the next week?
Yeah, as a team, we live by this since the beginning of training camp, is a one snap and clear mentality. So, that over the course of the game, there's something called the ebb and flow, and that's the up and downs of the game. So pretty much taking one play in, and whatever happens in that play, getting to the next play fast. So we're thinking about that as well. We take that over into how we treat, every game, week in and week out.
Has that all? I know you've been with the Battlehawks for a couple of years now. Is that something that was talked about with Coach Beck last year? Is that something that's more from Ricky Prohl this year, like that mentality, or is that something that's just even more for you? Where does that originate from?
So that actually comes from, this year's coaching staff, and really it ultimately starts with our special teams coach, Coach Frank Gans, and he does an amazing job with, getting everybody on the same page and singing and dancing to the same song is what he would say. So, like, as a team, we are very strong as a collective, and everybody has molded together really well.
What's it? Are there any extra emotions this weekend? Because I know you were coached by Coach Beck, and there's so many people in the organization that think so highly of him, and he's one of the most important people in the history of the Battlehawks organization. But this weekend, he's going to be on the other sideline, which means the job is to try to go beat him.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's definitely an exciting week. It's definitely one when the schedule came out, not just for myself, but for some other guys that's been on the Battlehawks as well for the past years. It was coached by Beck. You know, we marked this on our calendar, on our schedule. So it's definitely, you know, we're excited. You know, but at the end of the day, it's another game. You know, there's all the outside noise. You still have to go on the field and do your 111.
I know you had some kind of familiarity with the offense that's being run this year, based off some of your previous stops. What has it been like for you this year, even though you've been with the team for a little while? New coaching staff, some new schemes. Talk me through what it's been like for you in that area.
Yeah, so the offense that we schematically have implemented this year, I was in it in 23 with the Seattle Sea Dragons, and then I was coached by June Jones. But I also go back to 2020 in the XFL with AJ Smith, who's our OC now, offensive coordinator now. He was my receivers coach for the Roughnecks. So I've had history with this offense and this scheme, and it's getting to a point where we're really starting to mold and mesh during practice. And people don't realize this, but we get here for training camp and we have no prior like OTA like you would have in the NFL, like where you're getting off-season work together, running these plays and all that kind of stuff, and getting the scheme really down and honing in on all the details. So we've been able to really come together and gel, and I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do on the field this week.
Having as much experience in this league as you have, when that is going on, and you're going through the full install in a fairly short amount of time, I know that goes into the regular season as well. Generally, about what point in the season do you feel like teams are starting to really click at the highest level that they possibly can?
Yeah, it's always, when you look at the UFL, it's always around that week 3. Like I always say, like week 3, week 4, week 5, and that's when you really get, like, teams really solidify their identity and what they're doing schematically. So we're right at that, right at that time frame. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can tell just the difference in the way we've been, practicing, and just week by week we've been getting better and working on, growing. And like I said, I'm just excited to showcase that this week.
What's it like for you when, this year it's been a little bit tumultuous when it comes to the quarterback situation? Start with Brandon Silvers. Harrison Frost is the guy right now, but the team also traded for a guy who's going to come in and compete. And I know you're always going to believe in whoever's under center, and you've been with these guys all year. But when there's this, and there was an injury as well, Michael Pratt has been backup. He went down, and he's going to be out for the rest of the year. That's a position that obviously impacts you in a really large way. How do you go about handling those emotions when all this stuff that I just mentioned is going on?
Man, I just, I don't really tend to pay attention to, I tend to have tunnel vision when it comes to certain things in life. Like, I always made sure to, take care of where my feet are at. So to always take care of what my job is, to make sure I'm available. It doesn't matter who's throwing me the football. I still have to run the route. I still have to work my craft and get open, and it's regardless of who's throwing the football. So I know I have confidence in every single one of these guys, and that's not just me being, just saying the cliche answer. Like, I really do have confidence in all these guys, and like I said, I have the utmost confidence in Frost, and I've been with Frosty. He was with me with the Sea Dragons in 23, and we always knew if he ever would have got in behind DiNucci, he would have did great things. And he's a dog. He definitely has the tangibles to get us what we need to get done on the field, and I'm excited to see him this week. But like I said, I have confidence in everybody, and I just got to take care of my job, and when that ball comes to me, I just got to make a play.
You don't have to answer this question. I don't want to give away too much to the opposition, but I'm going to ask it nonetheless. You're a guy, you went to Southeast Missouri State. You're originally a quarterback, so you've got the ability to throw the ball. Can you tell me, is there anything somewhere in that playbook that maybe somehow, some way, you might be throwing a pass at some point?
There's always, with me, there's always a possibility.
Okay, all right.
You can't ever count it out. Yes, sir. With me, there's always a possibility.
Final thing for you, our good friend Brian Stull, who really helps us with these interviews and everything. He keyed me into the fact that you are very into tattoos. Can you just? Yes, I don't even know what to ask you, so I'm just gonna say, can you talk about that for me?
Yeah, man. So my inspiration for tattoos, I had my grandparents on my mother's side were really sleeved up. They're actually from Missouri as well, and they're from a small little town called Crane, Missouri. and it's over there by Branson. And so I've been out there like my sergeant and stuff, but they were like big bikers, and they were tatted from they had sleeves, their fingers were tatted, all that kind of stuff. I don't have my hands and stuff tatted, but I do have pretty much I have my whole legs are done, and my arms, my torso, everything. And that's just something that came from my grandparents. But I also speak through like my tattoos. I take it like seriously, so you won't see me just having some random stuff on my arm like a Super Mario character or something like that. It's like it's very I'd say I'm really tapped into like my spirit and my divinity and like divine power and stuff like that. So I speak through my spirit and my art onto tattoos.
Do you design them? Do you work with somebody to design them? Talk me through that one.
So I had, and thank God, this is like a blessing. One of my teammates growing up from Little League, middle school, and high school, he actually ended up becoming a tattoo artist in high school. So I got my first tattoo when I was in high school on my arms, and I got them in a spot where I could cover it with a shirt so my mom couldn't see. And it was John 10:10. And so I pretty much, that was my Uncle John's favorite scripture, and he had passed away, so I went and got it done and kept it from my mom. And one day I went to stretch and yawn, and she saw them and lost her mind. And now we're here, and now I'm all sleeved up, and she can't say nothing.
Your mom cannot be upset when you're putting a Bible verse on you.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not too mad. So, but,
like I remember being little, and I was supposed to go to bed, and sometimes I like to read books, and I got in trouble one night because I was up before I was supposed to go to bed, and I was reading the Bible, and my mom could not yell at me. It's the exact same thing. If you're going down with the Bible, mom cannot yell.
Exactly.
All right, we got that down. Hey, really appreciate you taking some time. It was fun to get to know you a little bit, and best of luck this weekend and the rest of the way, and give Coach Becht his first loss of the season this weekend.
Yes, sir. Got to. I appreciate you, man.
All right, very good. That's great stuff right there. Really appreciate taking a few minutes to be able to talk with Battlehawks wide receiver Blake Jackson. It's going to be a little while till they are back in town. I'll mention this again, but it was mentioned on. We're going to play some Ricky Prohl audio coming up later on. But during our time with Ricky today, we learned that for the Battlehawks game on May 8th, a bunch of former St. Louis Rams and Greatest Show on Turf guys are going to be in, including former Rams coach Dick Vermeil. So that's another reason to get out and check out the Battlehawks when they're next in town May 8th. They've got some road games coming up before then. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some City SC soccer. Our good friend Jen Cease is going to be with us. She's up next. Don't go anywhere. You're locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line here on KMOX.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Man, I love being able to tell you about i3 Broadband. They are the internet service provider at my home. I always think it's important to tell folks I had i3 Broadband way before I was ever talking about them on the radio. And I had other services before I had i3 Broadband. And the difference between, I was telling people about i3 Broadband before I was talking about it on the radio. Like anybody, I would hear somebody complain about their internet. Oh, my internet was down. Oh, it's so slow. Oh, I pay so much for it every month. I'd be like, boom, this is my chance to tell you, you got to get i3 Broadband. They're awesome. And now I get to share that message on the radio, which means I'm talking to more people because I really, like, this is such a genuine thing for me. I rely on the internet so much at my house. So many things. for my work when I'm at home. Sometimes when you hear me on the radio, I'm not actually at KMOX. Sometimes I have a home studio, and sometimes I'm broadcasting from there. And I need to know that my internet is fast enough and strong enough to be able to do the video and be able to do the audio and everything. Never worry about it with i3. They're the best. I've got kids. They're using all kinds of different devices. We've got cameras on the outside of the house. We've got cameras on the inside of the house. I never, ever, 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 ever have to worry about my internet at home because of i3 broadband. It's fast. They mirror their upload and download speeds. 1 gig, 2 gig, 8 gig internet packages are available. It's reliable. It's so reliable. It's the most reliable internet I've ever had. And it's affordable as well, which is something that you don't always say depending on who else you're looking at. So don't look at anybody else. Look at i3 Broadband. Go to the website, i3broadband.com/radio, i3broadband.com/radio. Put your address in. See if they're available in your neighborhood. They're always adding more and more neighborhoods in the St. Louis area. So if you've done it before, they weren't available, keep checking. They'll get there at some point. i3broadband.com/radio.
Don't miss the Route 66 Centennial Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Bring back memories of the Mother Road's stunning natural scenery and roadside attractions, and explore its complex history and impacts on communities across the region. Featuring a concert by Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, food trucks, lectures, kids' crafts, and more. All activities are free. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Come celebrate our Customer Appreciation Days, April 24th and 25th, and save up to 10 to 20% on trees, shrubs, annuals, tropicals, perennials, houseplants, and more. KMOX will be live on Saturday. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com for more details.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Built on a century, focused on today. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Back at it on KMOX. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. City SC, tough one this past weekend. They lose to Seattle by a 4-1 score. They are going to get back at it coming up this upcoming weekend, as on Saturday they are going to be at home against San Jose. You can hear the broadcast on our sister station, Y98, and part of the Y98 broadcast, she's one of our very close friends. Love bringing her on the program. She is Jen Cease. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Good. How are you, Matt?
I'm all right. So not a great result this past weekend, but a great moment with Edward Leuven scoring a goal. Let's start with that. He has been through something that nobody should ever have to go through in their life, and he's gone through it, and soccer seems like the least important thing in the world for him, but at the same time, it was a really cool thing that he was able to go out and score a goal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's always good to have Edward Leuven on the field. I remember talking to him I feel like it was a couple of years ago when we started to really learn that his now passed away wife, Ilona, was fighting brain cancer. That kind of off to the side, he said, it was kind of difficult, even though she was a huge proponent of him playing, doing what he loves. She loved to watch him play. It was hard for him to get himself to play a game, even though he loves the game and he knows it is his job. So I can only imagine what, if you want to define cognitive dissonance, it's really that and playing when you're still grieving. So, absolutely, it was awesome to see him get out there and to also see how the players reacted for Edward Leuven, not just City, but also the Seattle, the opposing team, for everybody to rally around him. So great to see him on there, and he got a goal, which was amazing.
It was a tale of two results last week. They played well in the U.S. Open Cup, advancing with the 4-0 win against FC Tulsa, but they have that 4-1 loss against Seattle. How do you evaluate where this team is at right now, where the MLS results, they're still having a hard time finding good ones?
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw out the Open Cup result because, and not because it's not a good thing, of course it is, but it's a USL team. There were only, I think, 3 MLS teams that were upset by USL teams, and City wasn't one of them, and they should go and win that. They should win that soundly. So I expect that from the team. But yeah, going out to Seattle and losing 4-1 was a tough one. If you take a look at City's schedule, I was kind of going back and looking at why Dale Shilley, who's our analyst on the show, you've talked to him, I know, before, Matt, kind of looking forward to this next game being San Jose, meaning we finally get to a team that's basically not a playoff team from last year other than New England. Every team that City's played out of their 8 games other than New England has been a playoff team from last year. Well, San Jose is performing like a playoff team. They were eliminated last year, and so City, when we think that they get to come home, take a breath, find their home crowd, get some points, they're going to have to walk in and do it against the San Jose, who, by the way, was victorious over LAFC and is really under Bruce Arena having a great run of form right now. So this will be no easy task for City to come and do this at home either.
What have they done recently that, if they continue to do, could result in a better result?
Yeah, so I think really 2 things. One, do what they did against FC Dallas. So FC Dallas, I think, was a good, even though it was just a tie, Timo Bombero scored in that game, to level the score, it felt like a victory because City really did a good job controlling the pace of play. They didn't let Dallas turn the game into basically a track meet. Musa and Farrington are really fast players. They like to go. They like to be direct, go as quickly as possible. And City, held onto the ball and said, no, you're not going to be able to play the way that you want to play. You're going to play our way, and was able to do that. So 1, controlling the pace of play and dictating. 2, also knowing when we go forward on the attack, not everything is an attack. Not every time you win the ball on offense do you kind of crazy go forward like we did in our first year and try to score a goal, especially if you don't have numbers up. So find those moments to go forward, find those moments when to hold on to the ball, and then when you do get it, clinically finish the goal. I can't even talk. Clinically finish that. It can't be one of those that just goes wide of the post. It has to go into the back of the net. And preferably, I'd really like to see City do this early. We know the team can come from behind. I applaud the resilience, but we have yet to see City really take kind of a lead and hold on to that. This would be a good day to do it on Saturday.
The World Cup is obviously coming up. Like, I've started to notice, I can't walk into a store without maybe seeing a World Cup shirt or something like that. What impact do you feel? Like, we already live in a soccer crazy community, but what do you think it's going to do maybe for young people or even people like me, who there's going to be so much more of a spotlight on this sport here coming up in the not too distant future?
Yeah, I can tell you where I've seen it impacted. A couple of weekends ago, I traveled to Kansas City with one of my kids to play a couple of games, and the hotel we were staying in was doing a bunch of renovation to get ready, and I asked him about it, to get ready for the World Cup, because Kansas City is one of the host stadiums. Highway 70 is a nightmare to drive between the two cities, and a lot of it's because they're trying to get the construction done in time for the World Cup. So you can feel it in those host cities for sure. And then when it comes to the World Cup coming, of course, to the U.S., I think it's one of those, if you don't remember back when it was here before, you were going to see take our Super Bowl or take our World Series and take that times every single state and all of the fans. It's like 100 times more of what you'll find, and the diversity of crowd. You're going to see such diversity. You see some of that with St. Louis City and our supporters groups. You see some of that diversity with Estiel Santos, our supporters groups there. You're going to see that everywhere. So I think the impact of the beautiful game and how it's the most beloved game worldwide is going to be felt right here in the United States. I think it's going to open the eyes of some people to really understand how big this game really is.
Very good. Jen, we really appreciate it. We encourage people to be tuned in on Y98 this Saturday and all year long as City SC plays on Y98, and you're a big part of those broadcasts. We appreciate your time. We're going to try to find ways to work you in more often, even with the Cardinal season. So we used to have on Fridays. That's not really going to work anymore, but we'll figure it out.
You got it. Yeah, pregame at 7 p.m. on Y98. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Very good. That's Jen Cease from the City SC broadcast and from here at KMOX, covering the team, doing an incredible job. I got to tell you, she is awesome in the way that she reports on the team on like an everyday basis. Get lots of emails with audio and stuff. Like, she's just so passionate about the team and adds a lot to us here at KMOX with her coverage, and we really, really appreciate that. And City's going to be back at it this upcoming weekend on Saturday. We'll see what they can do. I'll tell you what, that's the Edward Leuven moment. It's really cool, and there is a soccer side to it as well, because where you ease him back in, and where do you go from here? And even positionally, there's talk about where they want to have him on the pitch. But it's been really good. It's been really, really good to see this for him, and hopefully, as he's going through a really tough time, that this can be something that can help him get through what he's going through with his wife just recently passing away, and the battle that she went through for a long time, which, again, I can't even start to imagine someone going through that. We're going to jump back into the Battlehawks a little bit coming up in just a moment or so. Ricky Prohl spoke with the media a bit ago, so Battlehawks head coach, we're going to play some of what he had to say. And also, speaking of Kansas City, give you my thoughts coming up later on as well on the stadium deal that was announced with the Royals over on the other side of Missouri. So we'll get into all that coming up in just a bit. Right now, I want to tell you about my friends over at STL Weight Loss Injections. If you are thinking about getting on the GLP-1 train, I would certainly encourage you to talk to the folks at STL Weight Loss Injections. They're not going to force anything on you. That's one of the biggest things that I always say about them. They've got different options. You can do the semaglutide. You can do the tirzepatide. The big thing is just go talk with them and see what makes the most sense for you. Maybe you've been thinking about it, but you just didn't even know where to start, where that conversation can begin. Well, it absolutely can begin with STL Weight Loss Injections. If you go to their website, stlweightlossinjections.com, that's stlweightlossinjections.com, you head to their website, you see their phone number right there. You can also click on the button that says schedule an appointment. You can get in at $199 for the first month, and this can get you on your weight loss journey as you've got an opportunity to get a bit more healthy, or maybe a whole lot more healthy. It's certainly something that a lot of people are doing right now. A lot of people are finding success with, and would encourage you to be able to do that as well. Again, the website, stlweightlossinjections.com. That's stlweightlossinjections.com.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing provides your home with the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors to enhance your home's appearance. Available in cut-to-length panels that cover a large area for fast installation. Shop our selection of roofing products today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Things are changing fast and no one knows what comes next. Times like these make you realize just how important it is to be prepared. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. They're America's #1 most trusted resource for survival food, solar power, water filtration systems, and more. Go to preparewithamerica.com to unlock a special offer that'll help you get ready for whatever comes our way. Go to preparewithamerica.com to see the special offer right now. That's preparewithamerica.com.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Back at it on KMOX. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Again, Cardinals, they lose earlier today to the Marlins 4-1. Traveled back to St. Louis. They'll have the day off tomorrow, and then they've got a weekend series coming up against Seattle that will begin on Friday night. That means we're going to have another full 2-hour show coming up tomorrow here on Sports Open Line, which is good. Back-to-back nights with shows here on KMOX. Want to jump back into the Battlehawks? I know we're kind of jumping all over the place. Battlehawks and then City, and of course we've talked a lot of Cardinals baseball during the program as well. We don't have a lot of shows, so I try to touch on everything, especially with Redbird Rush Hour being nothing but Cardinals during the 5 o'clock hour. I always think it's important to get into a few other things, and maybe we haven't talked quite as much. We've done the interviews with some Battlehawks players like we did earlier today, but just in terms of what how their season is going and what's actually happening with this team, we could probably spend a little bit more time on that here on the program. And they made a little bit of news this week. They're having quarterback issues as they have not gotten the production from the quarterbacks that they would like. They began the season with Brandon Silvers as the starter. After that, they went to Harrison Frost. Frost was not very good this past weekend when they lost to D.C. He was 6 of 21 for just 144 yards in what was a 35-29 loss. They lost their backup, Michael Pratt. He suffered a broken rib last week. He's on injured reserve. So with that, they have made a change, not change, but they've acquired a new player. They acquired Luis Perez in a trade with Dallas, and Perez is somebody who's got a lot of success in his history. He guided Arlington to the 2023 XFL championship. He has played in the XFL, the UFL, the USFL, and the Alliance of American Football, so he's been everywhere, and he's going to come in and compete for now, but not immediately be the team's starter. In fact, head coach Ricky Prohl did spend some time with the media earlier today, and right now they continue to be all in at quarterback on Harrison Frost, and even though Luis Perez was brought in, he is not going to start right away. It's still Harrison Frost's job. They're not looking to see Perez on the field anytime soon.
I hope not. Obviously he's had a lot of success in this league, and I know that probably sounds silly. But this league also is for guys that are trying to get back in the league, get an opportunity. Luis is obviously a proven veteran in this league, has won a championship. I know in 2023 with Dallas. I remember watching him, have a lot of success. But, I want to see the Harrison that I saw in the fourth quarter a couple weeks ago. And we believe in Harrison. We believe in trying to develop him and grow him as a quarterback to be successful, to get an opportunity, whatever that may be. But for right now, Harrison's our starter. And like I said, we're glad to have Luis here, but, hopefully we don't need him. But if we do, it's great to have him in the bullpen, so to speak.
All that being said, the fact that they have not, and that's what a coach is going to say about his starting quarterback, right? Like you want your guys to believe that you trust in them. That being said, Frost was not impressive this past weekend. We'll see what he looks like. Now they do bring in a guy who's got the strongest track record of anybody on the team. And Prohl does say that he really likes the fact that the quarterbacks, and it's not just Frost and Perez, they also have Brandon Silvers around, likes the fact that these quarterbacks are going to be pushing each other.
To have a competitive room is awesome. I mean, that's, it's, if you want to play in the NFL, that's what it is. It's the best of the best. I mean, I look at all my years of playing, 17 years. I was never the guy sitting on top, looking down at everybody else. I was the one looking up saying, I got to earn my spot every day, every year. And, that's what we've tried to create here is a competitive environment that, I mean, Harrison, this league is as good. You're as good as your quarterback. With any league in the NFL, you're as good as your quarterbacks play. And so for us to have a guy like Luis who's had a lot of success, it's either going to light a fire under Harrison's tail and Brandon's tail, or he'll feel that pressure and cave. But I want to see how he responds. And that's what this is, a high performance business, man. And if you don't perform under pressure and you don't try to get better every day, then we're not getting better as a team. And that's what it comes down to.
The team is in a playoff spot right now, but it is anything but guaranteed. They're 2-2. They are in the number 4 spot in the standings. The team they're going to play next, Orlando, and we'll talk more about them in just a moment. They've got the best record in the league at 4-0. DC and Dallas each 3-1, and then you have the Battlehawks at 2-2. So it feels like this game coming up against Orlando is kind of a swing game, because if they lose that game, well, there's a bunch of teams right behind them: Louisville, Houston, Columbus, and Birmingham. All those teams are 1-3. So if you lose this upcoming weekend, some of those teams are going to win, and you're going to be in that group, and you're not going to be where you want to be. Whereas if you win that game this weekend against a really good Orlando team, you're able to surge forward. And that's again, maybe crossroads is too strong of a word, but it does feel like this is a big game, and that's something that Prohl absolutely agrees with.
It's crazy because they're 1-3, we're 2-2. We lose this week, we're 2-3, and some of those guys are going to win. They're 2-3. Now we're tied. And then you look at Coach Beck and Orlando, and some of the teams that are 3-1. They're 4-0. They lose, we win. We're 3-2, and now we're a game behind them. That's it. It's a tight race. It's still early, but like you said, before you know it, you're at week 7 and 8, and now it's going to start playing itself out in the next several weeks.
And then speaking specifically about Orlando, they are the only undefeated team in the United Football League, and oh yeah, they are coached by Anthony Beck, who obviously did a really, really good job with the Battlehawks as their head coach over the years. It was an opportunity for him to get back closer to home, and he has stepped right in with Orlando and has done a really nice job. And just kind of, mixed emotions going into this game, facing off against Orlando. And Ricky talked a bit about just facing off against a guy who he's got a lot of respect for, that he's friends with, and of course facing off against a guy who had so much impact. Very few people had as much impact on the Battlehawks as Anthony Beck.
I mean, I was there with Beck when he built this team, helped build this team with him in 2023, being the receiver coach. And I think we were 7-3 and just missed the playoffs because of points. He's a great coach, great person, great for this league just because of his experience as a player and now as a coach. He understands, he runs his team like an NFL runs their team. And he's respectful to the players. He develops players. They're going to be a disciplined football team. They play well. They play hard. So, and that's a lot of what we're doing over here. And it's going to be a friendly rivalry. Me and Coach Beck, we keep in touch over the last 4 years. We talk a lot. We have dinner a couple of times since we've been here, and he's a dear friend, and I got utmost respect for Coach, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play against him. They're 4-0, man. They're on top. They're feeling good about themselves. So it's it's a great challenge for us, but we're excited. I think we're excited. Our football team's excited, and you see that in practice. They're excited about this opportunity.
That is Ricky Prohl. A few things from him. Again, the Battlehawks in action this weekend. They are going to be on the road as they are set to match up against Orlando. One other note, it was announced on the call today that the Battlehawks later on this year, they are going to, they're away for a while. Their next home game is going to be on Friday, May 8th, and this is really cool. Dick Vermeil and other members of the Greatest Show on Turf are going to be attending that game. More details about that will be coming up as we get closer, but always great. It's so good to be able to honor those players from the St. Louis Rams and the Greatest Show on Turf and everything that they did, and very cool to have Ricky Prohl, one of those guys, coaching the Battlehawks. So, yeah, circle to your calendar, May 8th. That's going to be a Friday game at 7 o'clock, and that's going to be fun with those fellas that are going to be in town. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the program. You are locked in. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett. I'm a board-certified master arborist, and I've been caring for St. Louis trees for over 25 years. Today, I'm going to help you choose a tree care contractor. Here's how it's done, so pay close attention. First, call everyone you know who has ever done any type of outdoor work, including that cousin that used to sleep on your couch. Leave them all messages and wait around to see if they call back. Here's a hint, they won't. Now, post to all your social media that you are looking for recommendations for a good tree service. Now beware, because there will be hundreds of different recommendations. So you need to carefully go through each one, checking that they have the proper insurance, background checks, and even the slightest idea of what they're doing. Schedule a bunch of appointments, and when nobody shows up, get really frustrated and put the whole project off for another year. Or you could just call Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or visit us online at stltreecare.com.
Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports, here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Seliga Heating and Cooling.
Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun, but every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, April 21st and Thursday, April 23rd. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Starting to wrap up this edition of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. We've got another full 2-hour show tomorrow night because the Cardinals are off tomorrow, and then Cardinals get back at it on Friday when they welcome in the Seattle Mariners. Certainly a bummer. Brendan Donovan is on the injured list, so we are not going to see him play this weekend. Was really looking forward to. I always enjoy when former Cardinals come back and the applause that they get. So we're going to have to wait a little while now for that for Donovan because he's not going to be here coming up this week, at least not playing. I assume he's probably not going to be traveling either. I guess there's always a shot that he comes with the team and maybe they do something, but he's not going to be playing, which is a little bit of a bummer. The Kansas City, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Held it for the last segment. This is a St. Louis show, not a Kansas City show. I understand that. There's a lot of people who listen to this show who are in the St. Louis area that are on the Illinois side of things. So when it comes to stuff in Missouri, they may not be quite as invested as others. So just want to mention this very quickly. The Kansas City Royals are going to be moving from Kauffman Stadium, and they're going to head to a new ballpark. It's not totally set when this is going to happen, but they are partnering with Hallmark Cards on a $3 billion project. There's going to be a mixed-use development, a new ballpark, new headquarters for Hallmark, all of that. The stadium's value is going to be $1.9 billion, and it's expect to break ground at some point next year, and that's going to be the first phase of a pretty big project. 85 acres is what the project is going to be. This does have a little bit of a Cardinals connection in the sense of how the funding is going to work. 2/3 of the funding going to come from private sources. The remaining 1/3 is going to come, it's going to be public money. There is money earmarked by the state of Missouri for stadium projects. When you look at what the Royals are getting here, at some point, the conversations have already started. The ideas have already started. The Cardinals are going to start doing some work on Busch Stadium to make sure that it continues to be a top-of-the-line stadium. There are certainly some areas of the ballpark that have aged a bit, and they are, I'm sure, going to be looking for some public money to go along with that, and the fact that the state does have money earmarked to keep the Kansas City Royals in the state of Missouri. Not that the Cardinals are looking to build a new stadium and move out of Missouri. That's not the case, but they're going to find some public money for sure when it comes to the upgrades that they're going to do to Busch Stadium at some point in the next handful of years. It's kind of been generally spoken about. It seems like they're in the very early stages of planning on that, but it is something that I expect to happen in the relatively near future. I'm glad the Royals are staying in Missouri. I am. I was bummed when the Chiefs announced that they would be leaving the state. And it's kind of weird because the actual implementation of the Chiefs moving from Missouri to Kansas in the Kansas City area, they're not moving that far. They're moving, I don't know the exact time, 20, 25 minutes from one spot to the other. But look, we realize that in St. Louis, there's a lot of Chiefs fans. We don't have an NFL team here, and a lot of people have adopted the Chiefs as their team. And I've never had a problem with that. We run Chiefs games here on KMOX. It certainly has helped that the Chiefs have been an incredibly compelling team here in recent years. And I've always kind of rooted for the Chiefs. I don't know if I really have an NFL team that I quote unquote like they're my team and I'm really strongly rooting for them. I miss that. I so miss having an NFL team that I'm really passionate about. Because we had that with the Rams and we don't have it now. And I would suspect we probably won't have it again in St. Louis, at least not in my lifetime. I'd love to be wrong on that one. It just doesn't seem like it's something. But there was, when they announced that, and I don't hate the state of Kansas. I went to college in the state of Kansas at K-State. But when I found out that the Chiefs were going to move from Missouri to Kansas, it just kind of bummed me out. And some of my affection for the Chiefs went out the door a little bit with them leaving the state of Missouri. And sometimes I was like looking inward and saying, why? Why does it really matter to you? And I never had much of an answer for it. And I'm happy the Royals are going to stick around. I've got a soft spot in my heart for the Kansas City Royals. During my minor league broadcasting years, I spent 2 years broadcasting for a Royals affiliate, and we had tons of the guys on the team that I broadcast for that played on the World Series teams. We had Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer and Salvador Perez and Danny Duffy and a bunch of dudes like that. So I've always appreciated the Royals. Going to school again in Kansas, about 2 hours from Kansas City. I went to a lot of Royals games when I was in college and always enjoyed the experience at Kauffman Stadium. There's a little bit of me that's sad that Kauffman Stadium is going to go away. I understand why. It's an older stadium. It certainly does not have the bells and whistles. I give credit to that organization for keeping that ballpark as nice as they have kept it and as up to date as possible. But I get why they want to move to another area and where they're at as well. I don't know what they're going to do with that land, because for those of you, I'm sure most people listening know, and you see it if you ever drive on I-70 through Kansas City, Arrowhead and Kauffman are right next to each other right there in this really large tract of land that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And now the Chiefs are going to move, and now the Royals are going to move. And it's not like there's a lot of stuff out there anyways, and that is a ton of land out there. I'm sure folks in Kansas City are curious what's going to happen there. In a perfect world, the Royals would have gotten this ballpark situation figured out, moved to the new ballpark. The Chiefs would have done big-time, huge renovations on Arrowhead and then knocked down Kauffman Stadium and turned that area into some sort of football village, all Chiefs related, because you have all that land out there, and they would have stayed in Missouri as well. That's not going to happen, but in my perfect world scenario, that's what would have happened. But good to see the Royals stay in Missouri, and good to see this get figured out. And again, I think this does have an impact on the Cardinals and Busch Stadium a little bit, because there's likely to be some money that the Cardinals are going to want from the state at some point in the relatively near future, and I would bet that has already been somewhat communicated. That's going to do it for the program tonight. We will talk to you again tomorrow. A full 2-hour show coming up tomorrow. This has been a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.